Getting Things Done. This presentation is based on a book by the same title by David Allen, and he is someone that corporations hire to work with executives to help get them more organized. So I have adapted his information to where it'll be helpful more to the student than for the corporate professional. However, the methods that he presents are good for home, work, and also for school. So I use both the methods both at my job and at home for organization and getting things accomplished. Now, the first thing that's important to know are what your values and your goals are. What is important to you? What are your values? Are the things I'm doing right now, are they true to what my values are? Do they fit? Do they match? Am I compromising what I value? Why am I doing that? And what outcome do you want for your life? And are you right now taking steps to achieve your goals? So, one of David Allen's quotes here, focusing on values does not simplify your life. What it does is to give you meaning and direction and a lot more complexity. So you want to hold true to your values. You will be a lot happier. It is sometimes more simple to just go against your values. At the moment, it seems more simple, but you are actually not serving yourself well when you do that. Values versus goals. Values are defined as the principles you live by, your standards, the qualities you consider to be worthwhile or desirable. So your value may be family, spending time with your family. Your value may be achievement in school or achievement at your job, promotions. Your value may be money, having a nice car, having a decent house, living in a good neighborhood. So everybody has a different value system. And then we have our goals. A goal is defined as the purpose towards which effort is directed. It's your objective. Where are you headed right now? What is your purpose? What is it that you want out of life? So you have to know what your values are and not compromise your values in order to get to your goal. So if you value honesty, you don't want to achieve your goal through dishonest means, because then you are selling yourself short and you will become something that you don't really like or you're proud of. So something is coming. It's going to be maybe within a few days, within a few weeks, something that will change your world and your life around you. You have no idea what it is, and you cannot prepare for it. It is called the unexpected. The unexpected may be a death in the family. It may be a car accident. There are just tons of things. Someone's sick. You get sick. You don't expect it. Things never happen in good timing. You probably have already realized that. But when you're unprepared in other areas of your life, if you're not organized and you're behind on everything, then when these unexpected things come up, it throws you off track completely. That's when you may drop out of school. You fail all your courses. You just quit coming. You may quit a job because your world came apart and you can't handle that. So what we want to do in this classroom is to help you to get more organized so that when something happens, you're not already behind and you are better prepared for the unexpected things. So there are two ways to handle unexpected problems. One, it was an act of God. You can't control it, so just relax. Then there's everything else. So if you get your act together and you become more organized, you can deal with that problem. Anxiety is caused by a lack of control, organization, preparation, and action. So a lot of stress and anxiety is created by the way that you live your life. In pursuit of happiness, one study suggested that people are happier when they don't feel rushed. And another study showed that people are a lot happier when they spend time with their family and friends and they make that time and set it aside. So we want you to be happy, and having less stress and having that time with the people that you care about will make you happier. So what this means for you is that you need a sense of balance. You cannot do it all, no matter how you try. People may tell you, you may hear it in the media, that you can make it all happen if you work hard enough. But in the process of working hard enough, you may lose your happiness. You're miserable. You may even lose your family in the process of trying to make everything happen. So again, it goes back to what you value. Are you compromising your values to get things done? So you want to have, if that means going to school part-time or taking a full-time job and making it a part-time job, sometimes it takes drastic changes to find that balance. And because in the long run, you're going to be happier if you seek out balance in your life. So other terms for balance: equilibrium, stability, steadiness, just kind of an even flow in your life. And according to the dictionary, balance means a state of equilibrium, a stable mental or psychological state, harmonious arrangements of elements as in a design. So that's the key words I want you to look at here. Balance and design. Because for you to achieve balance, you have to have some design in your life, some planning. So according to the dictionary, design is defined as to conceive or fashion in the mind, to invent, to plan out in systematic graphic form, to create or contrive for a particular purpose or intent. So for example, a football game. If you just said, okay, I'm going to show my ignorance on football, but all you guys get on one side and you guys get on the other and y'all just play, okay, and we'll just see who wins. My understanding is that that is not the way football is played. You don't just get out there and see what happens. There's actually a plan to it. Coaches will have their book of their plans for the game. So everybody has a purpose and they know exactly what they're supposed to be doing to win that game. A design for balance. Number one thing that you need to do is define your problem. And number two, for each of your problems, write out an outcome statement, which means this is the problem and this is what I want to happen. Okay, so if you're having a problem with grades, your outcome statement would be, I want to make good grades. Or you're having a problem with that relationship, then your outcome statement is, I want this relationship to be mended, to be better, to be improved. Or I don't have enough money. My outcome statement is, I want to make enough money to where I can make ends meet. Then objective 3 is to plan the next physical step. So some people know what their problem is. They kind of know what they want, but then they stop there because a lot of times because they don't know what the next step is. So back to number 1. What's the problem? What is it that you need to do? What is bothering you right now? What is distracting you? What is something that interests me that I'm not doing? What's consuming a lot of my time, causing me stress? What is the most urgent problem that I'm having? So chances are there are a lot of things that may be bugging you, but look at what is the main one, and that's the one you want to work on, just the ones at the very top. Objective 2. For each problem or situation, write out an outcome statement. What is my intended successful outcome for this problem or situation? Objective 3. What's next? What do you need to do now? Write down the very next physical step to move the situation forward. Another quote by David Allen: getting to where you are going requires knowing where you are. So you have to know exactly where you stand and what your problem is so that you can do something about it. You can only feel good about what you're not doing when you know what you're not doing. So this is true. If you're unsure of the things you need to be doing and you feel stressed, then you can't be really relaxed when you're not taking care of those problems. Here, this is something I would like for you to do. Take a minute and write down 3 things that are on your mind. Things that are problems for you, that are causing you stress, that are bothering you, distracting you, etc. Or something that interests you that you're not doing. Now, for each of those statements, write down a outcome statement for them, for the problems, that describe what do you want as an outcome for this problem or situation. Now, after you've done that, what is the next physical step that you have to take to achieve that outcome that you desire? So write down what that step is. So you may want to stop the tape for a second to work on this and then turn it back on. Why it's always on your mind. Things that are causing you a lot of stress and may keep you up at night, that you may worry about. It's because maybe you don't know what your goal is. I don't really know what I want to do or where I'm going. I don't know what to do. And I don't have a system for tracking things. So those are the reasons that things are constantly on your mind and causing you stress. It's a waste of time and energy to keep thinking about something that you make no progress on. It only adds to your anxieties about what you should be doing but aren't. And another quote, 2 commitments in your head cause stress and failure. So keeping all the things you need to do in your head are what cause you constant stress and ultimately not succeeding in that. So, getting it together. These are the first steps to truly getting your life together. For one thing is to get it out of your head. So by getting it out of your head means writing it down. So what you want to do is write down everything that is bothering you, that you need to do something about, that you want to do, that you want to buy, and create lists for everything. So things you want to do in the future, the things you need to do right now. Gather up all your stuff. So if you were trying to get it together in your home, for example, you would gather up all the little things that are out of place in your home, that are where they don't belong, or are broken but you haven't done anything about it. And you want to gather all that to a central area, put it in an inbox. So if you can't physically carry the item to your inbox, write a note about that item and stick it in your box. So this is just something that you need to take care of. So you want to you're gathering problems, you're gathering your stuff, and you're putting it all together in a central place. And more importantly is that you're getting it off of your mind and onto paper. And then you're going to take those papers to create a plan for it. Sorting your inbox. So you've gathered all your stuff, either pieces of paper, mail, junk, a piece of paper representing something. Then you're going to sort that information. First of all, what is the information, what are the things in your box that require some sort of action on your part? Does it require you to do something? Or something you have to act on? And then number 2 are the things you want to keep. There's nothing you need to do about it, but maybe it's an article. You're not really going to do anything with that article, but you want to keep it because you want to refer back to it later. So then you've got a stack of things that there's nothing you have to do about it. It's not a bill to be paid. It's not a homework assignment that needs to be done. This is just something you want to keep. And then separate that out to a separate pile. And then you have your trash. So these are things that you don't need to do anything about it. You really don't need to save it around for anything. It has no purpose for you. So you're going to chunk it. Okay, so that should be easy enough. So action, keep, and trash are where your stuff is going to go. Now, to keep. So these items, there's nothing you have to do with this item. Maybe it's a birthday card. You really don't want to throw it away. There's nothing you can really do with it. So you want to just save it. So you're going to create a reference file. So to do this, you're going to buy a box of plain manila folders. You're going to write on the folder what that item is. It may be one piece of paper in a folder, but that is information that you need to get to whenever you're ready for it. So you're going to put those folders in alphabetical order, like in a file box or a file cabinet. So I have reference files at work, and they're in alphabetical order, and reference files at home, and the same thing. So you want to have reference files, maybe a reference file for stuff you want to keep that you get from school. And you can create more than one file box for different areas of your life. So you may not want to put school items in with home items. So maybe just a plain box that you can put just school things in. So I have a recipe box. I have a whole file box, and all that's in there are recipes that I'm saving. So I keep things separated that way. Now, your action items. You know what to do with the stuff you want to keep. You're going to file it. Then you're going to go, you discarded your trash. Now you're down to the action items. What is the very next action that you need to take? So you're going to start with the first item in your inbox, the first problem. If this action takes less than 10 minutes, then you want to do it right now and go ahead and take care of it and just get it done. Okay, that'll relieve some stress right there. So, if it takes more than 2 minutes, you can either do it later, and you're going to put it on a calendar to do it a specific time or date, or you're going to plan it. So I don't want to do it today, I want to do this next week. So write that on your calendar that you're going to do that item next week and what day you're going to do it. Or you're going to plan it. And so if you're going to plan it, you need to have a next actions list. So beginning with that first physical thing that you can do towards making that outcome, remember your outcome statements, towards making that come true. There are 2 categories of reminders. One is things that have to happen on a specific day or time. So if they tell you to pick up your dry cleaning Friday at 4 p.m., you can put on your calendar Friday 4 p.m. I have class on Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 8 to 8:50. Write that down. Sociology or whatever it is, 8 to 8:50, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Then there are things that need to get done as soon as possible, but they're not necessarily on a certain date or time. So what goes on your calendar? Time-specific actions. It has to happen at 4 p.m. or 8 a.m. Day-specific actions. It has to happen on Thursday. And day-specific information. So, such as dry cleaners on Friday at 4 p.m. So, it's very specific information that goes on your calendar. There are 4 time frames for your stuff, for all those things that you want to do. One is now. It needs to get done right away. One is later. It'll wait for a little while, but it still needs to get done. And then there's someday. Someday I'm going to go to Europe. Someday I'm going to get my master's degree or my doctorate degree. Someday I'm going to live in a much bigger house. And then there's the maybe things. Maybe I'll write the great American novel. Maybe I will become a rock star. These are things that you're kind of having in the back of your mind, but you're not so sure about that you'll ever do that, really. So it's more of a maybe list. So what you want to do is create a someday/maybe list. So these are the things that you would like to do or you might want to do, but it's nothing you really need to plan right now, because whatever's going on in your life, there's just no way that could happen at this point in time. But it's still there. It's still in the back of your mind. So you can make lists of places you want to go, movies you want to see, books that you want to buy or read, or CDs you want to buy, just all kinds of things, or you want to write that book, or you're going to build a web page, or you're going to, own your own business. But it's maybe something you can't do right now because you're in school. So you want to write those lists out and put them in categories. You can write books and write those out. CDs, list those out. And so you can keep those. So what that does is anytime you write a list, it puts it towards your subconscious mind. And so when you write your list and you review your list, again, what we talked about with the power of the subconscious mind was your subconscious will continue to work and to make those happen and to create it in your life. So just by reviewing your lists, even if it's just a someday or maybe list, if you review it occasionally, then your subconscious mind has a chance to work on it. And it also gets it out of your head. It makes it real. When you write down, I'm going to do this, or I would like to do this, it becomes a little bit less of just a dream or a fantasy and into something more real, more tangible, more attainable. Now, you want to create a projects list. These are the things that you're going to do, that you're wanting to work on now. These are not someday, maybe items. These are the now and later items. So this is your all the things that you need to get done. So for for example, for your school assignments, you've got, say, a term paper, a project for your history class, a lab assignment, whatever it is. It's kind of the big thing, not the little steps, but just the big parts of it. And then for home projects, I need to paint a bedroom, I need to landscape the yard. These are things without the next actions list. It's just the main project that you need to work on. So that's where you're going to start. Then you're going to create a next actions list. You're going to list out all the steps to making that happen. So look at on the left the next actions list for a term paper. So number 1, I need to come up with a topic. Number 2, I need to go to the library and research that topic. 3, organize my articles. 4, read my articles. 5, highlight them, make an outline, start your paragraph, write your body of the paper, all the way down. So what tends to happen is people think, I have a paper and it's due whatever time, but they don't ever make any plans for it. And so 2 days before the paper is due, they are at number 1. They're trying to think of their topic while they're sitting in the library, printing out your articles, trying to read and highlight them all at the same time, and writing a paper in the middle of the night. So what happens is you are under a lot of stress and a lot of pressure. So if you will plan these things out, so as soon as you know you have a term paper, look at your next actions list. What do I need to do this week? This week I need to think of a topic and go to the library. Next week I'm going to organize my articles and read them. and highlight the main points. Then the next week I'm going to start writing my paper, and then I'm going to look over it for errors. I'm going to give it to a friend to look at and make final corrections. And then maybe the day before it's due, I'm going to be printing out my final paper, getting my cover sheet and my reference list. So then all of a sudden, you've done it gradually without all the stress, and you've made sure you've done it well. So the same thing with the bedroom. You know, you don't just go to Lowe's and buy your paint. You have to figure out, think about it, what colors would look good in here? What do I really want? So you might go to Home Depot or Lowe's and look at color samples and bring them home. Pick out which one you want, and then you can go and buy your paint. But if you go and buy your paint and you get home and there's pictures on the walls and there's no one to help you, then you're probably going to get discouraged, put your paint out in the garage, and then you may get to it someday. And then all of a sudden it hadn't happened. So it's a very methodical way to do that project. And if you do things in order, you won't get frustrated. You just look at, what do I need to do next? And then you can only do that. You can't think about steps 2 through 9 before you think about 1. So comparing a next actions list to a projects list. So you need to know the difference that we're talking about here. Again, the projects list, the examples I used were write a paper, paint a bedroom. Your next actions list would be, for writing a paper, would be the first item, select your topic. And then the next actions list, first item for paint bedroom would be get an idea of what color you want. So for actions list, categories. You want to put your actions list into categories. So for one, you've got projects at school, and then you've got projects at home. So you want to separate those actions lists. So have a big bold school above your project and your next actions list, and then you'll have home, projects list, and next actions list. So that's why you create categories. So I have categories on my list at home. I have a category of errands to run, calls to make, things to clean at home, etc., so that I can get those, separate those in my mind. Now this is an example of a project / next actions list with the categories. So you've got home and the next actions you need to do towards their home projects. School, what are your next actions? This is a daily list. This is one that you could use and print out each day if you wanted to organize your week this way. And so what are the, so you had a list of projects and next actions, and then you're taking that list to fill out your daily sheet. So you're not recreating that entire list. You're just taking out, okay, home, what's the next actions for this, and for this, and for this? And that's going to be numbers 1, 2, and 3 for today's list. Because you can't get it all done at the same time. You can only get a little bit done each day. So one person that came into a business came up with the idea to help them be more efficient by, he told each person to create a list of the 6 most important things to get done that day. So their production went up across the board by just focusing on what are the most important things to do. And so because 6 items was a reasonable amount of things to get done in an average work day. So when we try to do 30 to 40 things in one day, it's unreasonable. It's putting a lot of stress and pressure on yourself because you really just can't get that much done each day. That's why it's crucial to break it up and to plan things each day so that you're working towards your next actions list and completing your projects ultimately. So you want to review every day your calendar, the things that are on it that you have to do, and review your next actions list. And weekly, look at your projects and all the actions listed under each of those projects. Look at your someday maybe list. Again, your subconscious mind is going to work on those things. And then this is also your time to gather and process stuff, the stuff that's laying around that needs to be done. So again, you're going to put that in actions, keep, or throw it away. So if it's throw it away, chunk it. If it's trash, put it in your reference file if it's something you need to keep and not take an action on it. Or it's something you need to add to your projects list and next actions, or on your someday maybe list. So review your system, update all your lists, and get everything current and complete for the week. So I do this on Sunday nights for home, or Sunday afternoons, and on Friday afternoons at the end of my day. Even if I have to stay after work to update my list and plan my next week, it takes so much pressure off that it's worth it. For me to come in on Monday morning, I print out 5 sheets on Friday, and I plan out my activities. I put any meetings that are that day on that day's list. Any phone calls I need to make, I write that down. So it really does help me to be more organized. So questions to ask yourself about making next actions choices. So this is not an easy process to get used to. It takes some time for you to get your brain trained to really truly think about next actions. So what can I do towards my next actions where I'm at right now? So also, what can I do towards my next actions with the time frame that I have available? What do I have the energy to do right now? And again, what is the most important thing to do right now? What is the second most important thing? So you want to plan your day on completing those essential things, the things that are most important. It is very easy to stay busy and productive all day and yet not get the important things done. So if you have schoolwork to do and you're cleaning out your closet and whatever it is, it may be important, it may be something that really needed to get done, but is it the most important thing for you right now? Or is it something that you really need to wait till later? So you want to ask yourself each day, what are the priorities for my day today? So if you limit your choices to what seems possible or reasonable, then you disconnect yourself from what you truly want, and all that is left is compromise. So just know that you can make anything happen if you plan it, if you write it down and come up with your next actions list. So I hope that you can use some of this information. If you will apply this to your life, to your school, or to your home life, you will see tremendous changes in the way that you live. And you will find yourself stress-free. And that's really the most important, that you don't feel all that pressure, because it can be very stressful to be a college student and have a job and have a family. So the more organized you can become, then the less stressed you're going to feel.